Today's Rambam in Hilchis Eidus Perik Achados Perik Yud Aleph. So the Rambam talks about different types of Psuli Eidus. And Vikir, in the first number of halachas of this Perik, it talks about Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana. People that midiraisa they're kosher Eidus, but because of various inyanim D'Rabbana, they're posel Eidus in D'Rabbana. If the Rambam says in Halacha Vav Mabim Psuli Eidus Menateira the posel Medivreim, what's the difference? He says one difference, that a posel Medivreim is only posel once there's achroza. Once the Ramachir is a Mediyah, this person is Apostle Eidus. Apostle Eidus Menatera is Apostle Batsam, and it doesn't matter, Yachros, not Achros, he's Apostle Eidus. What's this taking Rambam? So I want to share a beautiful Vort, a Bira, the Tzemach Tzedek, in the Geder of Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana. And how the Tzemach Tzedek shows us that really in Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana and Gufa, there's two different Efanim and Madregis. Tzemach Tzedek in the Shuvas, in Even Ezer, Simin Kuf Chav Dalet, asks a kasha. There's a stira in the halacha of Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana. There is a din hamekadish b'Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana. Al derech ze hamegarish b'Psuli Eidus D'Rabbana. Person does kiddushin, or even their apostle Eidus D'Rabbana, or gerish in apostle Eidus D'Rabbana. So he brings the Beis Yosef, Sayin Hilchos Kiddushin, Sayin in gerish. That he says you have to be cheshish, you have to give a get, you have to give another get. In other words, you have to do another kiddushin, or you have to do another get. Al kaponim cheshishin, because even though talking midrabbana, there's a apostle Eidus. No, the first one was mekalish apostle Eidus rabbanon. So if this woman wants to be mutal alma, she needs a get because midraisa was a good kiddushin. The midraisa they were kosher Eidus. Al derech a person is megarish with psuli Eidus rabbanon. So you can't say the apostle was no gerushin. If I care, you have to give another get to make it good midrabanan, but you can't continue living with the man because there's a gerushin midiraisa. Al kaponim, it comes out from the din side by gittin side by kiddushin that einu chanami the edim are apostle midrabanan, but midiraisa they're still edim. So the rabbanan passel the edus, but you can't hide from the fact that midiraisa there was a good kiddushin. Midiraisa there's a good gerushin because these edim midiraisa are good edim. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, it comes legabi the din of Shvuas Eidus. What's Shvuas Eidus? Shvuas Eidus is when you come to an aid and you say, "Could you be an aid for me? I'm asking you to be an aid for me," and the man swears that he doesn't know Eidus. He can't be an aid for me. So if that's a sheker, if really he does know Eidus, so he's chayiv. According to the din of Shvuas Eidus. That a shvua that a person is being nishba, that he's not an aid, is chayiv. It's chayiv akar. So the din is that only applies if this person could be an aid, if he's an aid kosher. The Mishnah says in Masechta Shavuos that anyone who's an aid puzzle, so he can't be nischayiv in Shavuos Eidus. If he would be an aid puzzle, so he can't be nischayiv in Shavuos Eidus because anyways his eidus wouldn't be a good eidus. And the Mishnah gives different examples. It says, Mashal an Isha. And Isha is not kosher leidus. So maybe she's not in the Shvuas Eidus. And the Mishnah brings a few examples of people are craving that are psulim leidus. And then the Mishnah adds, Eina neheges ela biru'uyin lahoyid. That it's only neig by ru'uyin lahoyid. In fact, the Gemara, Shvuas Taflamid Aleph, what's being nitasiv by ru'uyin lahoyid? The Mishnah already gave the examples of people who are ru'uyin lahoyid versus people who are not ru'uyin lahoyid. Zakti Gemara says two shittas, but the halachi is like Ravacha Beyanke says lafukin misachik bikuvia. That misachik bikuvia is apostle Eidus midrabanan, and since he's apostle Eidus, even though it's only midrabanan, nevertheless he's not the ro'i lahoyid. So being that he's not the ro'i lahoyid, so mele he's not bedin shvuas Eidus, not bedin shvuas Eidus. And as if this person says that I don't have Eidus, so he would not be chayiv in the regular Shvuas Eidus because he's pasal lahoyid midrabanan. That's what the Mishnah is being meisif b'ru'uyin lahoyid, that even a pasal Eidus midrabanan is considered einu ro'i lahoyid, and memele is not nischayiv in the din of Shvuas Eidus. In fact, the Tzemach Tzedek l'chur we have a stira of two dinim. In other words, what's the geder of a pasal Eidus midrabanan? Is he considered that he's not a ro'i lahoyid? Period. That he was cancelled even legabi dinim deiraisa, or is only midrabanan possible, but midraisa is a kosher eid. So by gittin and kedushin we see that this person is considered a roy lahoyid midraisa, and mela the gittin and kedushin are gittin kedushin midraisa. So absolute midrabanan. Gabi, the din of Pasale of Shavuos Eidus, which that's a din deiraisa. So we see that the psul that Rabbanan makes him considered an inay ro'i lahoyid b'chlal ad kedekach that he's potter from the din deiraisa. Here it sounds like the psul leidus with Rabbanan makes him eis eidus. If he's eis eidus, even midiraisa is eis eidus, and therefore it's relevant even to pater you from the din of Shavuos Eidus deiraisa. That's the kasha that someone said asks. And for this Samach the hektim another gemara. The answer liegt in a gemara. The gemara is in Yuma that find out. There it talks about the din of shvua. That a person makes a shvua that he's going to do an aveda. So the halacha is the shvua is that chal. He is that we're mushba me'emid b'sham meharsina not to do this aveda. So a person makes a shvua is going to do an aveda. The shvua is not chal. However, says the Gemara, but if you make a shvua that you do an aveda, that the shvua is only an aveda midrabanon, then the shvua is chal. Because the shvua is adin deiraisa. Midiraisa this is a davar hamuter. So maybe the shvua is chal. Even though midrabanon, it's an aveda, but it's only aveda midrabanon. Midiraisa the shvua is chal. As they state clear in Gemara, the Gemara talks about the din chatzi shir. Person who makes a shvua that is going to eat a chatzi shir of a davar yisur. So later, Rabbi Yechanan the chatzi shir also minatera. The shvua is not chal because it's a deraisa. Later, Ish Lakish, the chatzi shir is mutter minatera. It's only also with Rabbanon, so the shvua is not chal. As they state in the Gemara, Frek the Gemara Alein over there in Yuma Dafayin Alein from the din of Shavuos Eidus. That there we see that a psul the Rabbanon does affect the din deiraisa. Why are we saying about chatzi shir, being that it's only in Yisrael Rabbanon, so it doesn't affect the deiraisa? And with the Raisa, the Shvu is chal. But by Shvu Eidus, we see that even a psul of Mesachik Bikuvia, that's only a psul midrabanon, affects the din Raisa that there's no Shechi of Shvu Eidus midir Raisa because this person is apostle Eidus midrabanon. That means that the Rabbanon affects the din Raisa also. As they frek the Gemara ale. And for the Gemara, shiny hosum dorma kroim leyagid the high lav bar hagode hikla. By Shavuos Eidus, the Isser is im leyagid, that you were told that you have to be magid, you have to do the Haggadah Eidus. And this person, since he's possible with Rabbanon, is not a bar Haggadah. Zok Rashi, mashma im leyagid mashma misha Haggadah shalei me'eles lebaladim. V'hai limahanya Haggadah didei hayil v'lei mekablina lo mid Rabbanon. In other words, the Gemara is telling us a very deep havchon. A din derabbanon doesn't automatically affect the din deraisa. It's only midrabbanon. So milataka legabi the halacha of shavuos. When you made the shavuot to be aver on derabbanon, midraisa that's not an avera. So milat shavuos come. By shavuos eidus, the issue is haggadah eidus. Haggadah eidus and achmin is: are we going to accept the eidus or we're not going to accept the eidus? That's the shiloh. So if the Rabbanon said we're not going to accept the eidus, who said why we're not going to accept the eidus? L'poil Bezdin is not going to accept the eidus. If Bezdin is not going to accept the Eidus, so there's no din Shavuos Eidus Deiraisa. The din Shavuos Eidus Deiraisa is dependent on whether it's going to be accepted in Bezdin. And if Bezdin won't accept it, then there's no din Shavuos Eidus Deiraisa. So that's why by Shavuos Eidus, even though the Psul Eidus is a Psul D'Rabbanon, but the Psul D'Rabbanon makes that therefore Bezdin is not, Bezdin listens to the Rabbanon, they're not going to accept it. If they're not going to accept it, who cares why they're not going to accept it? So there's no din Shavuos Eidus Deiraisa also. Mashaken by the din of a person who's nishba to do an avera, there's no din of accepting it bezdin. Mashayla is this shvuah chal or not? Hey, yes, this midiraisa is not an issue. The shvuah chal. So it's a machzadek based on that gemara that the same explanation answers why by shvuah Eidus psul the Rabbanon affects the din deiraisa, but legabi kiddushin and gerish and the psul the Rabbanon doesn't affect the din deiraisa. By Shavuos Eidus, the issue is the acceptance of Bezdin. The Reuven tells Shimon, "Come be made for me about something in Bezdin." It's all about I need a certain Haggadah in Bezdin. So B'meila, since Shimon is apostle Eidus with Rabbanon, Bezdin won't accept his Eidus. So B'meila, there's no din. Of Shavuos Eidus. Hashem can get in Kiddushin. Over there, the Eidim are not there in order to be accepted in Bezdin. Over there, the Eidim are to create a get in the Kiddushin. A get that's done in front of Eidim is a good get. A kiddushin in front of Eidim is a good kiddushin. It's not negeh hagod in bezdin. So it's not God and Bezdin. Then in a Chanami, the Din Rabbanon, the Psul Rabbanon doesn't affect the Deraisa. Mideraisa, they're good Eidus. The Rebbe brings this Samach Tzedek in Rishimis, in Kuf Samach, and he's Mesif words. The Rebbe explains because he says by Gittin and Kiddushin, the Rebbe explains like this: when the Rabbanon made a person Pasal Eidus, they didn't change the person, the Eid. The Eid himself, Midiraisa is a kosher Eid. The Rabbanon said we shouldn't accept his Eidus. Bezin shouldn't accept the Eidus. By Gittin and Kiddushin, all we need is that the Eid should be an Emes and Eid. It should be a kosher Eid. It's not Negia accepting it, Bezin. And therefore, Midiraisa is a kosher Eid. The Rabbanon said not to accept it. Al Kaponim, that is the Hagdorah, the Samach Tzedek. Memela just the Lusakim. The Shaila is, Apostle Eid is the Rabbanon. What's the Pshat? Is he Begeder Eid or is he not Begeder Eid? The Shaila is the Gabi what? The Gabi accepting in Bezdin. If we're looking for someone to be accepted in Bezdin, he's not an Eidus B'chlal. Because Bezdin is not going to accept him. And it can have an effect on a Din Deiraisa. A Din Deiraisa that's based on being accepted in Bezdin, Apostle Eidus with Rabbanon, is Nishken Eid Ben Gansen. Even the Gabi Deiraisa, because Bezdin is not going to accept him. So there's no Din Shvus Eidus Deiraisa. Mashenkin Lagabi Gittin and Kiddushin. Over here, we're not talking about being accepted in Bezdin. That's a mitzvah of these Eidim. Midiraisa, they're kosher Eidim. Midrabanan, there's a psul. Midiraisa, they remain kosher Eidim. B'meila Midiraisa does I get. Midiraisa does I Kiddush. That's some word to the Samach Tzedek. But l'cheira in them word liegt a number of Kiddushim. I want to talk about one right now. And that is in the Geder of Eidei Kiyum Lagabi Gittin and Kiddushin. What's the Pshat that you need that for Gittin and Kiddushin? The two Eidim are called Eidei Kiyum. They're Mekayim Mehadover to make the Gittin and Kiddushin. The Churidon them zwei Wegen zu trachten. There's one way. Why is it? Why take that a get and a Kiddushin can't be without an Eid? In what ways is it from the Dinim Mamanis? That Mamanis could be without an Eid. So one way to learn, and that's the way that comes out very strongly from the Ksos, Siman Rish Mamalef, the famous Ksos right in the beginning of Rish Mamalef, where he talks about the Geder of Eidim and how you learn Gittin and Kiddushin from Mamanis. And the Ksos learns that the Geder of Eidei Gittin and Kiddushin is that Eidim are Kadeshi Yivoda Hadover. That's what Eidim are for. In order that we should be able to know about this later, there should be Eidus for this. By Gittin and Kiddushin, the Eidim Sheyivoda Hadover are Liyikuva. If there's no one there, B'shas the get, B'shas the Kiddushin, that's going to be able to tell it over later, that's Liyikuva. And that's the difference. When it comes to Mamanis, the Eidim are not, if you don't have Eidim, they will help Liyivada Adavar. It's not Likuva. The person alone could say he does Baldim Kimedim Dam. That's the word to the Ksos. That always, whenever something is done, it has to be done in a way that it could be known to others. So by Mamanis, it could be known to others because he does Baldim Kimedim Dam. So therefore, Eidim are not essential because there's another way of Yivada Hadar. Mashenkin by Gittin and Kiddushin that there's no Eidos Baldim because it's Chav Lachrina, like the Gemara says in Kiddushin. Samachay. So by Kiddushin, there's no din of Eidos Baldim. So the only way it'll be Yivad Adavar is through Eidim. So Mela the Eidim are Likuv. Aziz are Tiksos. Late the Mahalacha Tiksos, Eidim of Gittin and Kiddushin are also there in order that someone should be able to tell it over later. Bechdeshe Yivad Adavar. Be'etzem. Eidim of Gittin and Kiddushin are also Eidim Levarir Hadovar tomorrow and Ibn Murden. Elamai over here. The tzerach of their birur is liikufa. That's one way of understanding the union that Gittin and Kiddushin need Eidei Kiyum, because you need to have people there that will be able to tell it over tomorrow or next. Kumtes that even Eidei Kiyum are be'emes Eidei birur just liikufa. They're Eidim to be mevarer the dover. Nervous if you don't have them is the Gittin and Kiddushin didn't happen. Because you must, it's essential to have Eidim that will tell over the story. That's one way to understand Eidei Kiyum. Another way to understand Eidei Kiyum is that the Eidei Kiyum of Gittin and Kiddushin are not there to tell over a story. The need for Eidei Kiyum by Gittin and Kiddushin is because the Torah said that how do you make a Gittin and Kiddushin through the fact that there's Eidim there. Eidim to and uf to Gittin and Kiddushin. Not because since you need someone to tell it over tomorrow, that's why Eidim have to be here. And it's liyikuva that someone will tell it over tomorrow. Now the Eidim alone make this in. Upon this beer the Samach Tzedek shows klar l'chura that he learned that the Samach Tzedek understands the union of Eidei Kiyum not be'efen that it's Eidim sheivada hadover like the Tzos. Because if indeed Eidei Gittin and Kiddushin is liyivada hadover, then according to the logic of this Samach Tzedek, Psuli Eidus the Rabbanon shouldn't be Eidim Bechlal for Gittin and Kedushin, just like by Shavuos Eidus. If the Geder of Eidus is someone to tell it over tomorrow, so if the Rabbanon said we can't be Mekabel their Eidus, then there's no one here to tell it over tomorrow, because we're not going to be Mekabel. Just like by Shavuos Eidus, the Samach Tzedek explained, and the Gemara explained over there in Yuma, that Imle Yagid, you need someone, like Rashi says, that the Mishak Godesh Lemi Elis Lebaldin. So just like by Shavuos Eidus, we would say that Psuli Eidus, the Rabbanon are not Eidus Bechlal, if it won't be Neskabel and Bezdin. If the Geder of Eidi Gittin and Kiddushin would be Sheyevoda Hadovar, then Psuli Eidus, the Rabbanon should be 0 for Gittin and Kiddushin also, shouldn't make a get and a Kiddushin, because there's no Yevoda Hadovar, there's no being Mekabel. Mashenkin, if you understand, the Geder of Eidi Kiyum is that the Inyan that Eidim are there does two like Gittin and Kiddushin, not because it's Negeh HaGodol Mocha. That's a meaning that they're there. Then the Vartan Samach Tzedek is Eir Gishmak. These Eidim are not for Yevoda Hadover. These Eidim are not to be Neskabel and a Bezdin. Is B'meila Psuli Eidus the Rabbanon, is only the Rabbanon, but the Reise das Kasherei. And the Emes Dachsich, as das Zok Mamish Selicht in a word for Rebbe. The Rebbe in that Rishima, when he brings the Samach Tzedek, what does the Rebbe say? He says, he brings that the Shnei Sugi Eidim. There's Eidim Sha'esim and Yibnei Chiyusa, and there's Eidim Sha'yodim Nisbarer Shanasoin. Edi Pa'ulav, Edi Bir. Right? So the Rebbe says, he goes on, he says, L'cheira, gam be'edi Kiddushin, efsher leimar shezehu in yonah. Be'emes, maybe Edi Kiddushin are also in Yin of Bir. Al be'emes ein nekein, kimim chelek miyin ha-Kiddushin. Kemesh ha-tzarech liyis kesef, tabas, dasa ish va-isha, kein tzarech liyis nechius Eidus, ki zo chelek miyin ha-Kiddushin. In other words, the Rebbe is mistapik. Maybe the Kiddushin are also only in Yin of Birur. How could that be? Everyone knows Kiddushin without Eidim is Dishkin Eidus. What did the Rebbe mean that be'emes efsher leimar that Eidi Kiddushin is also in Yin of Birur? They're bepashtus. The Kavanah is the Rebbe saying maybe Eidi Kiddushin is like the Ktsos says. Maybe it's also a geder of Yivoda Hadovar nervas is liikuva, but the geder is to tell over to another. Says the Rebbe, no. Eidi Kiddushin is a chiluk of the Kiddushin, just like a tabas. Just like an ish v'isha, because it's not there for tomorrow. It's there because now they make the Kiddushin. And the Rebbe says, Ubazem, move on. And he brings the Samach Tzedek. Back over here, brings the Samach Tzedek. Interesting. In Lekudi Sichos, in Chelik Yutas Sheftim, there's the Sikha Vedikim made a birur. The Rebbe didn't bring the Samach Tzedek, Meize Siba. But in the Rishimas, the Rebbe brings the Samach Tzedek to prove that Eidi Kiddushin is not a geder of Eidi birur. According to the way we explain, it's very reich. And that's not the Kavanah of the Rishima. I'm just touching is the Kavanah. That the Rebbe says from this Samach Tzedek Zetna, that the geder of Eidi Kiddushin is talking not like the Ksos. There's Sheyivoda Hadov. Because then again, Absulitis that Rabbanon would cancel the Eidus and Gansen. No, the geder is that it's there, the etzim in that they're there, das machdus the Kiddushin, and Memela, even if they're possible with Rabbanon, but with the Reise, there's still a geder Eidus. Memela, with the Reise, there's still a Gittin and Kiddushin.